Assalamu alaikum and welcome to another episode of the Chocolate Shake. Inshallah, today I like to talk about some basic ethical and moral things that came through my mind. And I know it's been a little while since I've seen you guys, but I've come to the point where I don't have much to say, and much of what I've said in previous videos still stand. My attempt is to make sure that the ethical man, the young brothers, right? The young ethical men have some place to go where there's somebody who's holding on to their morals or ethics to the best of their ability, someone who studied these subjects, the matters of what we call in Islam akhlaq, or ethics, morals, and mannerisms, and try to give the young brothers and the young sisters something to hold on to, hold on to the rope of Allah, hold on to something that comes from God and those who are the great prophets and sages. That's the attempt of this channel. That's the intention of this channel. So with all the things that are going on since I spoke to you guys last, we've actually put ourselves in a world war. So let me take that back. We didn't necessarily put ourselves in a world war. Donald J. Trump decided to put us in a world war. He and Benjamin Netanyahu. So we participated in that with our hands because we allowed, through the political system and not taking certain actions as citizens, to shut all this down. You see, we sat back and we watched the Palestinians basically get genocided off their land, saw their lives get taken, saw those people lose their husbands, their wives, and their children. And the world kind of sat back and watched it, right? Only a few people around the world really stood up and did something about it with their hands, as the messenger of Allah said, right? Our holy prophet Muhammad, on him be peace, was reported to have said, when you see these types of evils, you should move on those things and correct them with your hands. What can you do physically to stop these evils and these wrongs? And if you can't do that, he said, then we should speak out about it with our tongues. You use your mouth and you come against it, which, I saw people around the world do that. And he said, and if you can't do that, then hate it in your heart and know that that is the weakest of faith, right? That's the weakest thing you can do as a believing person, or a person who believes in righteousness. Those of us who try to be moral or ethical. We looked and we saw the Palestinians basically get genocided off their lands. And we didn't know how to tackle that situation. Like, people didn't know how to wrap their hands around it. If you say anything about it, then you were called anti-Semitic. If you say anything about it, you were called anti-Jewish, which we all know the Arabs are also Semitic people. And we also know that these people who are calling themselves Jews in that area are not Jews. These are European peoples who came in for whatever reason through time. They adopted the religion of Judaism, so they say. And some of these people who claim to have adopted the religion of Judaism, we now know are really Zionists, right? They're not Jews, those people who actually practice following what we call the Old Testament or the Torah, or those people who follow whatever other prescriptions that come from the Torah, which we as Muslim people believe is one of the books that was given to our prophet Moses, on him be peace. That there is light in what we call the Torah today. Although we don't believe it's exactly what was given to prophet Moses, on him be peace, we do believe that the Torah is a book of light, most of it, right? We know that the hands of man has corrupted most all of these scriptures. We as Muslims believe that the Quran is maybe the last of those that have no corruption in it, and we have our proofs for that. But as regards other religions, we know that these books have been corrupted, whether they be the Buddhists, the Hindus, the Christians, and the Jews. They themselves, if you go to their scholars, they'll tell you that. And so it's no big secret. But we do believe that what it is that the Jewish people have in their hand does have light from God, right? It has some light from God. And we know that people like Benjamin Netanyahu, they don't even believe in it, right? These are people who don't even believe in God. We know they have no morals. We can see how they kill other people and steal their land, that we know these are moralists people. These are people who lack ethics, all right? These are people who move in the world like they're worse than animals. Animals have a code that they follow. Basically, an animal's not going to do anything to you unless you show that you're threatening his homeland, you threaten his children, you threaten their food supply, etc., right? Or they themselves are just to the point where they're hungry and they want to eat. So they're going to move on trying to get something to eat. Human beings are even worse than animals when you come to the character of a person like Netanyahu or the persons like Donald Trump and all of those sycophants around Donald Trump who allow him to do what he's doing. We, the citizens, are also guilty because we allow it instead of just standing up and shutting it down, whether that means have a total and complete revolution or using other means with politics to shut these people down, right? Because they got the political system wrapped up. I think I've mentioned that for anybody to look at my videos. I've mentioned that I have no more respect nor trust in the political system in America. I think it's it's absolutely taken over by those who have the money. The elites have it. As it's been being said, and I love this phrase, the Epstein class, they have it, right? Epstein now has become the picture boy, right? He's the person now who we have a face. He's the face of these elites now and how they operate. They operate by making sure that they have blackmail on one another, right? That's their quote unquote brotherhood. It's not the brotherhood of the believing people that you have your brotherhood wrapped around morality. Your brotherhood is wrapped around religion. Your brotherhood is wrapped around Allah or one of the messengers. But their brotherhood is wrapped around blackmail. That I got something on you and you got something on me. So we're going to shut our mouths and we're going to do this evil together. And we're going to use our blackmail as levers to control one another. And then that spreads all the way throughout the society, you see? So we who are the citizens and the people who are the movement people, the believing people, or the righteous people, for those who don't believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or believe in God in any shape, fashion, or form, and you still have morals, you still have righteousness in your chest, you still have the ideal or the belief that you want for others what you want for yourself, that you are do unto others as you would have done unto you, to follow that simple rule, then we have allowed these people to run amok. Allah tells the Muslim in the Quran that he has created men to check other men. And that's what we need to do. It's time to check these devils. Because if we don't, then they're going to destroy, as Allah tells us in the Quran. They will absolutely destroy, dominate, and oppress the lands. And that's exactly what these devils are doing, except for the fact that we do have movement people, like the Iranian people right now. And I'm talking about the Iranian nation. So we're talking about those who are the Shia Muslims, all the way through the Sunni Muslims, all the way through the people who may not have that type of faith, the people there who live there who are Marxists, the people who live there that are capitalists, the people who live there that have all types of shades of faith and standings and philosophies in life. All of the Iranian people. I mean, they're standing up. And they're standing up as one people in unity to fight back America and Israel and anybody else that's against them. Because the Arab states, all of those Gulf Arab states, they're nothing but a bunch of sycophants and straight up ass kissers, as Trump just proved. He said that Mohammed bin Salman had to come back and kiss his ass. That's what he just said. And I agree. That's exactly what he had. He better go on back and kiss his master's ass. All right. He stepped out of line and Trump need that ass kissed to get things put back on par. And you see, and that's what he gets. That all of them a bunch of ass kisses. And we need to go ahead and say that. Go ahead and kiss your master's backside. And now the whole world can see it. So that goes for all these other people that are out here, Muslims who are talking about how unsophisticated the Iranis are, because they actually are trying to have an Islamic revolution, not even just for Iran, but to export it to Muslim countries now, not these non-Muslim countries, to Muslim countries where Muslims should be trying to live by the law of Allah and the messenger and just throw off the laws of these Europeans and the Western folks who brought their way of life and their laws and imposed it on the Muslim peoples through these sycophantic so-called leaders. so-called monarchs. We Muslims talking about monarchs. When was a monarchy something real in Islam? You see? And then today we have quote unquote sophisticated, smart Muslims who can tell you about economics. They can tell you about, socialism or socialization. They can tell you about all of these things, right? They're supposed to be so cute and so nice and so healthy for human society, but then turn right back around and can't see the Islamic Revolution. So Iran, they're the uncultured, uncouth fools, right? But when you start talking about money, and you start talking about the elites, the Epstein class, and you start talking about these monarchs and these quote unquote presidents and all these people, then all of a sudden, oh, these are the sophisticated ones. These are the ones that know the way. See, when Imam Khomeini brought the Islamic Revolution back in 1979, I remember Muslims talking about he was uncouth. When I became Muslim back in 1986, everybody was talking about that. Oh, he was uncouth. I remember having these discussions with Muslims. I remember being at an IHOP, right? International House of Pancakes, sitting down and listening to Muslims talk about how Iran and Imam Khomeini, rahmatullahi alayh, that they were uncouth. They were unsophisticated. They didn't know politics. These are clerics. This is ulama. What do they know about economy? What do they know about how to run a nation? Oh my God, these ignorant folks. This is how they were talking. This is how the Muslims were talking about the Muslims while praising people like Ronald Reagan. Oh, God. I tell you, bro, you talking about the weak man of the world, the weak man of the Middle East. This is what the Muslims are. It's terrible. And now you have these people stand up, the Iranians, with the Islamic Revolution, not just standing up on socialism or Marxism, right? They're not standing up on some Western philosophy. They went back to their traditional roots, and they're standing up on God and the messenger. As any believing people should, even the Christian people and the Jewish people, they should stand up on their book and they should stand up on their messenger, right? Stand up on your prophet, show the world that you believe in it, that you believe that what is in your book that you should actually practice, and eschew what it is that the Western people gave us, right? Eschew what it is that the quote unquote white man brought to humanity. Push it down and step on it with your deen, with your way of life. This is what we're saying. So now the Iranians have done that, and they are showing that they will stand up as mu'min people, right? Real believing men. And they'll fight back these demons who are coming to not to steal their land, to kill them and steal their land. This is what my nation is doing to another nation. They're killing the people, citizens, and trying to steal their land and steal their oil, turn that country into a nothing country so that Israel will be the last country standing in the Middle East, the strongest country standing in the Middle East, and then they can go ahead and exact their quote unquote greater Israel project. We say, hell no, we're not going to allow that to happen. So I want to read a little something that the believing people should concentrate on for you young brothers and sisters who look at me and the old heads, right? The gray beards who take a look at my channel from time to time. I'll read a couple of ayah, a couple of verses from the Quran. This is from the chapter called Al-Shams, which is the sun, for those who want to look it up in the Quran. That's chapter 91. Allah says here, this is verse, let's read 7 through 10. I'll read it in English. With the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. By the soul and the proportion and order given to it, and its enlightenment as to its wrong and as to what's right. Truly he succeeds who purifies it, and he fails who corrupts it. Sadaqallah, sadaqallahu al-azim. Surely Allah speaks the truth. So here Allah tells us, by the soul that he imparted in our chest, right? And how Allah proportioned that soul, how he created the soul, right? How he fashioned the soul. He gave it a knowledge of knowing what is good for it, the right, and he gave it a knowledge of what's bad for it, the wrong. Allah tells us truly the person who understands this, the rights and the wrongs, right? The person who understands that person will be successful if he tries to purify it. You try to purify that heart from that wrong action, and you try to adhere and be submissive to the right. And surely he fails who corrupts it. The persons who know the right and the wrong, right? Because the soul's going to tell you. But then you do the wrong things. Then you corrupt that thing. The people who try to purify it, they become enlightened. And the people who corrupt it, they become the devils, right? And we got to deal with them. So we're saying that you see who's right and you see who's wrong, and there's no misunderstanding that. So those of us who are the moving people, the believing people, it's time to move on these devils. It's time for us to stand up, and you do what you need to do to stop them, because if you don't, then they will take over this world and they will corrupt it and they will oppress us for sure. And people like Trump and Netanyahu are showing you exactly what that is. Okay, so that's it for me. If you enjoyed what I had to say, or you like what I had to say, or believe in it, or think it's healthy, please do me a favor and like this video. And if you have not already, please subscribe to my channel. God willing, I'll try to be a little more regular. It's just that when I look at some of these world events, and as I see them and go throughout the day, I tell you, it could really beat you down. It could really be a source of defeat for you if you don't keep yourself healthy. So we're trying to do the necessary struggle, the necessary jihad to keep our mental state healthy and our spiritual state healthy, as well as our physical state healthy, so that we can continue to live life and do battle with these devils, okay? So y'all take care. I love you, and God willing, we'll talk soon. Peace.